Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Google Made Easy. My name is Peter Moriarty. I'm really excited to have you here. In today's episode, we are going to be covering how you can get started with Google Slides. Now, Google Slides is obviously a part of the Google Apps ecosystem. It's a part of Google Drive, and think of it as Google's ripoff of Microsoft PowerPoint. It's their online presentation, proposal, and slideshow software. You can do a great job making really brilliant slideshow presentations, and today I'm going to show you how to get started. If you've never used slides before, or maybe if you've already got started with slides and you want to learn the basics, just make sure you got all the fundamentals down, then this is going to be super useful for you. So, two quick things before we get started. First up, we're going to get really practical in this episode. So if you've got a computer with you or you've got some notes to take down as you're following along, make sure you're ready to go and hopefully you can follow along with us. Number two, make sure you're directly communicating and engaging with the rest of the Business Blueprint community. Use your social media of choice to connect with hashtag Business Blueprint or Google Made Easy, and you can chat with myself and other members of the community about this show. Feedback, comments, questions, throw them all at us. And if you'd like to connect with me on social, head to businessblueprint.com/experts. So what are we going to cover in today's episode? We're going to be talking about Google Slides and how you can go from zero to Google Slides rocking and rolling in your business. So we're going to cover off the very basics, how to create your first Google Slides presentation, where you go, how to get started with it, and how we can get going on your Prezzo. Next up, we're going to go through how to choose a theme for your presentation. So this is going to be how do you make it look good, how do you change the coloring and what it looks like overall as a theme on your presentation. Next up, we've got how to create and work with the individual slides in your document. So think of those as the pages or the tiles. They're each page, each slides that we're going to be going through on the Prezzo. Next up, the basics of adding animations to your slides. So if you'd like any of your elements to fly in from another side of the page or anything like that, then we're going to get that going. Next, how to choose the right transitions. So if you want to have fancy transitions happening between different slides as you're presenting, you can have that going as well. Next, how to create shapes and flowcharts and embed those into your presentation. Next up is how to insert images and how to get those images edited within your slides as well. So we're going to show you how to get the images on there, upload them from your computer, and everything that you need to do to make your presentation look great. Next up is how to share your slides presentation with one of your colleagues. So we'll go through how we can share it with somebody else, how can you have your team members collaborate in real time on your Google Slides presentation. Great for a group presentation or if you're working with colleagues to put together this presentation. And finally, we're going to be covering how you can then present from your Google Slides presentation. Really, really cool stuff. We're going to show you everything you need to know to go from where you are right now to rocking and rolling with Google Slides. So it's time to get started. Now, Google Slides is a part of the Google Apps ecosystem, which means that if you're using Google Apps for Work, which is Google's business suite, that means that you can run your whole business using Google's technology. So Google Docs, Google Drive, Gmail, Google Hangouts, all of these come available for your business, and you can use your own business domain name with these. More information about that by contacting us via the experts page. Now, if you're interested in using Google Sites and maybe you don't yet have a Google for Business account, you can go ahead and get a free Gmail account from gmail.com. Sign up for Google Drive, and then you can log in and get started with Google Slides yourself. So if you're not yet on the Google platform, go ahead, get yourself a free Gmail account, and then you'll be able to follow along with this presentation. So we're going to be going through how to use Google Slides, and whether you're using Gmail or Google for Work, the experience is going to be the same. Google Slides is a part of Google Drive, and any of the slides documents that we create are going to be stored in our Google Drive with the rest of our documents. So let's get started on getting our first first slides presentation going. I'm going to show you where to access slides, how to get started with it, and then we're going to go ahead starting to create ours. So I'm going to go ahead and go right into my Google Drive on my machine, and then let's get started creating our first slide presentation. You'll see here in my Google Drive on my computer, like we go to create any document, I can click the New button. You can see I've got a plugin here which lets me create Word and Excel, Microsoft documents in my Chrome browser. Not that I need to, we exclusively use Google, but you can see here that down under Docs and Sheets, I've got the option to open up a new Google Slide document. Let's go ahead and click on that, and that's going to open a new Google Slide document. So like with any of our other Google documents, you'll see here that if we want to add a title to the document, I can go ahead and give it a name. So let's say my first presentation. Go ahead and name it that. And like all of our Google documents, you'll notice that any changes we make are automatically going to be saved and then uploaded to Google Drive automatically. So uploaded is probably not the right word. Saved live to Google Docs is a better way of explaining it. So what that means is that any of the changes that we're making or any of the changes that our colleagues are making are automatically being saved in real time. And what that means is we will always see every single version of the document, and we'll always be able to know who has changed what as we're going through our editing and collaboration phases as we're authoring the document. So we've got our first document created. How do we then store it? Let's go back to our Google Drive, and we'll see that this document will have appeared in our document list. Let's go ahead and look for my first presentation. It's probably going to be somewhere under M. Okay, maybe it hasn't appeared yet. We'll do a quick refresh on our Google Drive, and let's just see if this document has popped up for us. Let's scroll down to M here. Here we go, my first presentation, we've found it. All right, cool. So if I want to share this with one of my colleagues, I can just right-click and I can share it individually. Or if, for example, I'd like to move it to a folder, which is the best way to share something, to move it to one of my collaborative folders, I can go ahead and maybe let's put this in the attraction folder, because this has to do with, for example, client attraction. So I go ahead and I move it. It's going to ask me, do you want to share it with your colleagues who can see that folder? Definitely. And I've moved that document into a folder. So the document URL doesn't change, but when we click on the folder icon here, we can see that this item is in the attraction folder, so we know where it is. Cool, okay, so we've got the basics down. That's how we create our first document, we store it, and if we'd like to share it with colleagues, then we can share it by putting it into a folder. So next up, how do we choose a theme for our presentation? That's probably one of the things that you want to do first. Pick a great theme to make the presentation look good, and then you can focus on getting all of your content built out and into the presentation. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on choosing our theme. Let's get going on getting that happening. So you'll see here that I've already got the themes panel open in my Google Slides, but I want to show you how you can open up the themes panel if it isn't already opened up on your machine. So you'll see here, let's go ahead and close that. And you'll see here, we've got the tools menu, we've got the arrange menu, we've got the format menu, we've got the slide menu. So now that I'm back on my presentation, you can see that I've got the themes window open here. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And then right now I've got this text selected, so I need to just click off and away from that. And there we go, it brings things back to square one. Okay, so you can see here along the top, we've got a few different options here. We've got the option to change the background, which is actually just going to change this particular slide. Layout is applying a layout to this slide, but what we want to choose is theme. So let's go ahead and pick our theme. And what this will allow us to do is choose from, there's a bunch of pre-done themes automatically from Google. So I can go ahead and pick a fancy pink one. That one looks pretty exciting there, cool. And you can see it's changed the text. It's even allowed me to add a subtitle. I can put some subtitle text in there. Let's put something cool in. So let's call it my presentation. Cool, all right. So here's the start of our presentation. We've chosen our theme. We've now got the start there. Now, themes will apply globally to the presentation that you're working on. And what that means is that we choose one theme for our presentation, and that theme will carry through each one of the slides that we create. So that makes it nice and easy for us to work on our presentation, make it look good, and then each slide we create will then be uniform as we create it. Now, there's also the option to import themes, and that allows you to find themes from other sources. There's even a theme gallery with Google as well. well. And what that lets you do is import themes from outside of the defaults in Google Slides. You can even create your own themes as well, which is pretty cool. We won't go through that in this episode, but there's lots of options there if you're not satisfied with the basic themes that are included in Google Slides. So let's move on to our next step. How do we work with individual slides, and how do we get the basics done on our Google Slides presentation as we're creating it? Now, the slides work a little bit like pages in a document, a little bit like if you've used Microsoft PowerPoint before, where effectively building out each individual page is one slide. And the great thing about these slides is we can actually have different collaborators who are sharing this document with us, just like a Google Doc or a Google spreadsheet, work away on the different slides and the different text areas on those slides at the same time in real time. Really, really cool to collaborate on these. So I'm going to show you the basics of working with slides and how we can get stuff done building out our presentation. Let's go ahead and create some more slides, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So let's jump back into our presentation. You can see here that our presentation's in 16:9 format, which is now a standardized widescreen format. And so if your presentation is in a different format right now and you want to update that, then what you need to do is go to the File menu, and then you can actually go to Page Setup. And that's going to allow you to choose between...
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.